Welcome to Borderlands 2. We're going to be playing through this whole game in its entirety, completing the storyline and all the DLCs. I'm looking forward to it, so let's get right into it and meet our buddy Claptrap.
Great. Another dead Vault Hunter. Handsome Jack's been busy. Wait a minute. You're not dead! Yes! Now I can get off this glacier. Claptrap, your metaphorical ship has finally come in. Allow me to introduce myself. I am a CL4P TP steward bot, but my friends call me Claptrap. Or they would if any of them were still alive, or had existed in the first place. Oh, I've got something for you.
It was pretty lame they changed his voice in Borderlands 3.
Take this echo communicator that I totally didn't loot from one of these corpses. It comes with a Class 12 heads-up display, complete with a mini-map. Now, come, friend. Let's get
I just remembered a funny story, actually. I was a big Borderlands 1 fan at the time, when it was the only one out, of course. Now, me and my buddies originally went to Best Buy to go and pick up a copy of Borderlands 2. But unfortunately, we weren't of age. We were only 16 at the time when it came out. So, the guy wouldn't serve us, he wouldn't give us the game. We weren't able to. We had to actually go and get our buddy's dad, and then we went to Walmart and got it. It was ridiculous. We were there release day and everything, waited for it, pre-ordered it, but nope, needed that adult. Oh, man, they were sticklers at Best Buy. Don't get me wrong, though. I respect the guy for doing his job, but we ended up going over to Walmart. We didn't even need Buddy's dad. We were able to just purchase it there. They didn't care at all, so hey, shows to go, yeah. I ended up working at Walmart in high school, and I didn't care most of the time, but I loved IDing kids that I knew were underage when they came to buy Grand Theft Auto or something, because they always tried. It was so funny to just shut them down as a high school kid to have that power. It was a good time. Real talk though, working at Walmart was absolutely horrendous. It was the perfect example. All the management was toxic. It was absolutely corrupt. They were lying to each other, lying to associates, making things up, just making a mess of the schedule. It was absolutely horrendous. Not only would they not hold themselves accountable, but you know what they would do? They would then take the associates and hold us all accountable, but they never were. But that's the way it goes. And then later on, new store manager came, and her and the co-manager went on an absolute warpath of firing people. Oh, buddy, let me tell you. It was pretty crazy, honestly. It was just assistant manager after assistant manager getting canned. Just people were in and out the door. There was this one co-manager, I'm not going to name drop her, but man, she would fire people on the spot, rip their badges off, scream at people. It was just, the management team was, there's a difference between a boss and a leader, right? So, you know which one they were. It was horrible. And it was so stereotypical, half the associates there were stealing. They would scan things in the electronics department. They'd scan a bottle of water and then cover the UPC, which is the code at the back of a DVD or a product, right? So basically what they would do, they'd grab a Nintendo DS or some Xbox games or whatever out of the case, right? And then they'd go grab a bag of chips and a water. And what they would do, so that you would see it on the footage, is the associate would scan and it would go beep, right, when he scanned the chips and the water. But then after that, he would pretend to scan the DS so it would look like he did, but then he actually didn't, so that's what the camera would see. But then, of course, you can always go back on the receipts and look at transactions and stuff, but they didn't really start to pay attention until things started going missing, right? But I mean, people steal stuff all the time, so it's kind of hard to track that anyways. But the associates ended up getting caught. Well, one specifically, the guys that were stealing DSs and games and stuff never got caught. They were lucky. I wasn't a snitch. I wasn't gonna say nothing. It wasn't my business. I didn't get involved. I just keep to myself. That's how I am. But anyways, basically, I ended up becoming a manager at the time, and basically what ended up happening was one of the associates got caught stealing MasterCards and Magic cards too, actually. So he was stealing Magic cards on the daily. He would take them from the card section, put them in those cardboard bins you see the associates pushing around. And then Buddy would go and, he would push it in the back, take out the cardboard, and then he would take the cards out and shove the packs in his pockets. So he was crafty, The reason he got caught was because he was taking MasterCards, and at Walmart, if you press cash after you sign in with your associate ID and password, it will pop open the till. So hey, if any associate leaves the cash register and you're around and you hit cash, that thing will fly right open. I don't advocate bad business, don't go being crazy, but just letting you know it's really simple and ridiculous, which I find absolutely appalling, because then things like this happen. Say that you went to buy a MasterCard, right, like a prepaid Visa. Basically what you can do is scan it and then hit cash, and when you hit it, it's basically saying that that money is in the register, but it's not. So immediately it creates an immediate issue with the counts and accounting, right? So they catch on pretty quick, honestly. But they had to actually like catch Buddy doing it. Like they had him on video and stuff, but they wanted to catch him like physically doing it, which they did, and they came and arrested him in front of everybody, and it was just super awkward and embarrassing. Like it was just, they could have done it a lot better. They were very bad at like proper discipline, you know? So anyways, yeah, that's the story of the guy that got caught because he was doing the cash on the magic cards, or sorry, the prepaid cards, and then pocketing the magic cards. Man, there was this one guy, the legend of Walmart. Oh my goodness, this guy, his name was Jay, all right? Jay from sports. This guy is a legend. Absolutely. This guy, he would eat healthy as can be, like the healthiest human diet you could ever find. I think he was like mostly vegan or something. Like he was eating constant veggies, prunes, things like that, you know, things I could never stomach. But anyways, basically, yeah, he was eating really good, but the catch to that was, his catch-20 was he was drinking a bottle of wine. He would come to work with like his water bottles full of wine, you know, the ones you can't see through that are like copper and hold a liter or whatever. So Buddy would have a bottle of wine with him on shift, and he'd be walking around half cut and stoned too, mind you. Like, I'm sure they had to know. But he only ever got caught because, you know, he got caught a few times. They didn't fire him for drinking on the job. I was really surprised, honestly. Like, he got busted and they didn't can him. But then there was one time where me and my buddy, we were working, and the guy decided to eat a bunch of mushrooms in the back room. He's in the break room munching down some mushrooms. We're like, okay, no worries. He said he was going to save some for my buddy. He didn't. He ended up eating them all because, you know, whatever, you know, I'm sure we would have all done the same thing. Fast forward, we find him trying to find a particular square on the Walmart floor. You know how it's like that white floor with all the little like squares kind of cut out of it? Basically, Buddy was there trying to find the perfect place to put down his cup, and he was there for like 20 minutes before we noticed him. So we clocked out early and walked the guy home because he was destroyed, you know? It was the right thing to do to take care of the guy, but yeah, it was just a funny experience. Buddy was wasted. That guy, he was a hustler, man. Like, the amount of people, as I mentioned, that like steal from Walmart, that guy, oh my goodness, he was like the kingpin of this stuff. Let me tell you, I got a story for you. So basically, this guy was using Walmart as his main job, but also his side hustle. This guy, if you needed anything in the store, we're talking like he worked in sports, right? So he had access to all the cool hunting stuff and gear and weapons. He stole a crossbow for a guy. Basically, you would go up to Jay and be like, hey man, you know, I want this, you know, how much would that cost, right? And you just negotiate with the guy, you know, as example, a friend of mine, of course, not me, you know, I would never do anything like that, you know. Buddy ended up getting like 3 good like buck knives, I think a Gerber knife, and like high quality steel. We're talking like some good knives, right? Well over $100 in value, and it was like $40 he paid him to get them. He smuggled them into the employee room, traded them there, you know. Even some people saw it, they didn't say nothing because they probably all doing it too. Not surprising, of course, given it's Walmart and they treat their employees like garbage. Oh, what can you do? So anyways, yeah, this guy was making a ton of money on the side, but literally anything you needed. Like, that guy could get TVs. He was insane. They actually installed a couple cameras because of the guy. It was kind of funny, you know? And yeah, anyways, Jay he's a legend. I don't know what happened to him to this day. From my understanding, he ended up in rehab and ended up into, you know, having some addiction problems and whatnot. But hey, what can you do? It's part of life. Everyone has struggles. No judgment here. I wish him well. I don't know where he is, but I hope he is well today. And speaking of today is the start of our Borderlands 1 playthrough, which I am very much looking forward to. This game is a legend. You know, so many good memories, so many hours with friends spent playing this game. You have no idea. Like, oh, so many good times. Now, we're going to play through this, and I'm also going to play through Skyrim as well. You know, I've never played Skyrim myself, ever. I never really got into it, you know? And then I played Elden Ring, honestly, and that kind of got me into that kind of genre in terms of like medieval fighting, that kind of stuff, you know, don't hate me, whatever. Anyways, it kind of piqued my interest in the Skyrim, whereas I never really had an interest for that kind of stuff before, if that makes sense, you know? But yeah, anyways, I decided just to, you know, check it out, feel it out for the first 10 minutes, and you know, I didn't even really get past anything, just did a couple fights, did the introduction thing, you know, seen the well, finally you're awake meme, you know, all that fun stuff. And yeah, it seems really interesting. I made a really cool character, so my plan is to restart. You know, I didn't really do anything anyways, but make a new character and then play through the game. I literally know nothing. Like, I don't have any friends anyways, so I have nobody that I can source. You know, I didn't Google anything. I never see TikToks of it. I'm going in completely blind. I think I'm going to go for like a melee mage build, you know, just for fun. I don't know. I don't know what's best, but we're going to see. So yeah, basically the plan is going to be to upload like a Borderlands video, then a Skyrim, Borderlands, Skyrim. I'm going to continue Pokemon Emerald at some point, but it's just such a pain. Like, my computer's just absolutely being horrible, so that project's on hold for right now, but that's okay. It will return. But for now, we're going to continue with our Borderlands 1 story and follow our claptrap buddy, and I guess I'll share another life story concerning Walmart. Now, Walmart is not a place I would recommend anybody work after my experiences. Honestly, it's the people that make the job, regardless of where that job is, 100%. And the reason I say that is because, management changes, people change, your team changes, the whole vibe changes, the whole workflow, all the efficiency, everything changes when you lose or gain a team member, right? But anyways, having that said, Walmart was just, oh my goodness, the leadership was absolutely horrendous. I will never forget my terrible, terrible experience at Walmart. It was my high school job, it was all right. And I worked there for 4 years, 4 years, something like that. I completed it, I did it until I finished high school and stuff, committed, because honestly, I was making some pretty good cash for a high school kid. I was getting 600 to 800 bi-weekly, something like that. And it was pretty good, honestly. All that money went to nothing. It went to, Wendy's, Dairy Queen, pizzas, alcohol, snacks, pop, all that stupid stuff, I did save up and buy my first car, though. So, at least I got that going for me. But that aside, as an adult, I am now terrible at saving, but that's all right. So don't make the mistake I did. Always throw 100 per paycheck. If you start now when you're 14, 16, you're set, man. Don't stop. Don't be an idiot like me later on in life, in debt and in trouble. So anyways, back to Walmart, also not, the greatest place to have a career until you move up, You can really make a lot of money with Walmart, really. Their shares and stuff, all the managers, they'd always keep a tight watch on that because they would invest into their profit sharing or their stocks or something. I don't remember what it was, but point is, basically it would pay for their Christmas shopping every year, because they can see it, right? It's almost like a cheat. It's kind of unfair once you're a co-manager or a the store manager, right? You kind of have an in into the business side, so you can kind of you get a little bit of an advantage compared to your everyday cart pusher or whatever, right? Now, of course, I think that they all had the option to buy into it. I don't remember. But anyways, enough about friggin' Walmart. It was horrible. Met some cool people. A lot of funny stuff happened. A lot of good stories. If you want some more stories like the ones about Jay, definitely let me know. I got a lot of fungi stories for sure. But now we're going to change the topic of this conversation, menstruation. Oh, Hammerlock, buddy. Can I talk to you, please? Okay, I was going to say, bro, let me turn this in. I'm probably going to do the side quest as well. Might as well just 100% it as we go, I could just streamline the story, sure, but what's the fun in that, Part of Borderlands is the exploration, right? So gotta go on an adventure. I remember back a few years ago, the very first time I ever 100%ed this game, doing all the little challenges and stuff that are just such a pain in the behind. It's quite a challenge. If you're looking for something to do, go back and 100% these Borderlands games. After I do this one, I think I might do Borderlands 3 just because the original Borderlands, yeah, it's great and nostalgic, but I just don't like the way it feels. You know what? I should just buy the remastered one. I wonder if that one auto picks up ammo and stuff, or if it's the old version. Whatever the case, we'll figure it out. I just know that some of those achievements are a pain, the ones where you have to pick up the drops from the Claptrap DLC, what is it? I think it's grease cans, pizza, panties, just a bunch of weird random stuff that you get from farming the little Claptrap army. I was gonna say Craptrap army, but they might as well be crap traps. But anyways, yeah, it's a really great DLC, so I definitely want to go back and play it. Speaking of DLCs, Borderlands 2, 100% the best DLCs of all the Borderlands games, not a doubt in my mind whatsoever. Honestly, man, you gotta give it to, what is it, the Tiny Tina DLC? Why did they even release Tiny Tina's Wonderlands? By the way, the game sucks, it's terrible, it's rinse and repeat. You just do dungeon after dungeon and farm XP, basically, is what it feels like. The game's absolutely horrendous. I like being able to navigate the board, don't get me wrong, but I definitely think that they could have done things a little better. I find it to be very plain Jane and really not that enjoyable. I'd rather play the pre-sequel over that, and the pre-sequel, a lot of people don't favor. Personally, I don't mind it, it's alright. But anyways, I would rather the pre-sequel over Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. It's just not for me, I'm gonna play through it, but I've picked it up a handful of times and just put it right back down, it's just not pulling me in like the other ones. Je ne sais quoi. Speaking of French and being Canadian, I don't remember much of anything of that, honestly. Everything in school, all the years, I think I took French for gotta be 5 years, something like that, and I don't remember a single thing, man. It's unfortunate, but what can you do? Basically, where I come from, on the east coast of Canada, we don't, at the time, I didn't learn French, right from the get-go. I was in grade 4 when we came out to the west coast. And basically, you know, kids were learning French right from the get-go out here, and I was SOL, you know, I didn't know nothing, so I had to kind of pick it up, and I just struggled right from the beginning. It was a disaster, you know. But hey, what can you do? That's the way she goes, that's the way life is. Sometimes you gotta pick up the struggle. The good news is when we did move over there, like, I said I was in grade 4, right? Really, basically it was like, I think it was April or something, and it was like the end of grade 3 we were moving. And basically, they were gonna fail me. They weren't gonna let me finish the year, and I was like, okay, well, you know, but, you know, anyways, whatever ended up happening, I didn't have to finish grade 3 and went right into grade 4, so that was kind of cool. At least I learned to multiply before we moved, so, you know, I'm gonna take that little victory right there for sure. Gotta say, the start of this game's definitely not my favorite. Like, all this wintry nonsense, like, I'd rather get to Sanctuary and just get going, you know? Kind of like the start of the pre-sequel, where you're stuck out on the planet, whatever planet it is anyways, the moon, I don't know, and you're just, you know, aimlessly wandering, just kind of like this cold part. I'm not a big fan of the introduction, but once we get past it, the game will be pretty legendary. You know, I decided to go with the Assassin class just for bore, because I feel like that's going to be super helpful, especially with the bunker. I debated on choosing the Gunzerker, of course, because, you know, obviously, you know, fantastic choice, right? But I was like, you know what, I don't want to be able to just burn right through it and run past everything, right? You know, what's the fun in that, right? You know, and I debated, you know, I've played through with the Siren before, the Soldier, the Necromancer, Krieg, so I figured, you know what, give the Assassin a go. Find it strange that there's a shield quest when you probably have one at this point. Like, you know, the logic there is strange, but you know what, maybe you skipped out on it, and this way you at least get one if you decide to complete it in the new area, I suppose. But now that this is done, we're gonna go ahead and turn this quest in. I'm thinking, did we finish the Bullymong Hares? No, we still have more to do for sure. I think this might do it. Yeah, one more, here we go. I thought so, I was like, there's no way.
A trillion thanks, Vault Hunter. You've helped a foolish old man look far more badass than he deserves.
Man, they really don't want you to leave this Iceland oasis. My goodness. I strongly dislike this start so much. All these little side quests, I'm just going to bang them out, get them out of the way. Oh, hey, at least that one's not even here. Well, at least we can continue onwards. That's pretty awesome. Find the audio logs. I'm pretty sure that that's in this area, right? Like, you don't need to leave? From what I remember. Okay. I think there's like 3 we have to find, something like that. If you listen to them, Jack has a lot of funny things to say, actually. It's really interesting. And you know what? The audio logs you find throughout the game give you little tidbits information you might not have learned, you know? They fill you in on the lore. Doing all the side quests is definitely recommended. Oh, also, this just randomly came to mind. I think the very last achievement I got in Borderlands 2 was, you know that one where you discover the double rainbow, and Handsome Jack has that, like, funny audio that comes in, the, oh, double rainbow. Anyways, I'm pretty sure that was the last achievement I got, because I was like, I don't know where it is. I had to Google that, man. I had no idea, but yeah, anyways. Funny little side quest there to completion it.
Please return the echoes to me whenever you are capable of doing so.
Hey, no problem, Hammer Daddy, I got you. Hey, no more quests. Fantastic. Glad there's no more to come from you, thank goodness. Which is great. That means we're a lot closer to getting out of here and closer to Sanctuary. So what I'm going to do here, I think I'm not even going to bother trying to fight these guys. It's just way too much heat to handle. Like, sure to be good XP, but, you know, I'm not too concerned about getting an extra level on Flint. I think we'll be okay for the most part. We're going to see what happens here, but yeah, I'm hoping with the ability here to go invisible that we can just skip on by and not have to fight all of this, because it's just too much to ask of one feller. Oh, bro, I didn't know. Oh my god, alright, cool. I don't know if that's a cut or what, but either way, we're getting through here and we're getting the heck out of here. I think we just have to get to the top, but we also have to activate the lift for Claptrap as well. There's, if you do, like, run through this too quickly, you can completely miss that, which I've actually done before in the past, and then you have to run right back down, click it, and then go all the way back up, and it's just such a pain. So make sure that you do your due diligence if you're going to run through it just like I am. You know what? I ran past all that and I just realized I did the exact thing I just said. I totally forgot about Claptrap, so time to turn around and go bring him up, I suppose. My bad, little buddy. Sorry for making you wait.
Standing on immobile platforms is one of my top 3 favorites. I ascend!
That was pretty aggressive. I'm surprised he didn't get launched 20 feet in the air. You know, I gotta say, for like a first boss for a game, like Captain Flynn's pretty solid. Like boom boom, yeah, it's like 2v1 and it's alright, but this guy, man, like he's actually a pain, you know, between the enemies and all the fire attacks. Like this is actually like a good challenge at the start, you know? A lot of people die a couple times, no shame there. But this guy is down, and now we can move closer to Sanctuary, so that's pretty cool. I think we also get a little loot room or something now. We get a little chest to go at the end once we make her up there with Claptrap. Yes, please open the door. That would be great. You know what? Before this one's over, I got one more story for y'all. We're going to talk about a kid named Lance. This guy was an absolute menace. We went to Bible camp, okay? Bible camp, where everyone's supposed to be safe and have a great, holy Christian time. No. There is so much happening behind the scenes. Let me tell you, I had a buddy that later on, after going to the Bible camp, ended up becoming like a counselor, one of the people who stayed in a room, and there was like kids of various ages, like 4 to 6 kids in a room with the counselor and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, he said like after dark when the kids are in bed, man, all the counselors, they were like driving around in trucks, shooting fireworks at each other, having a blast, getting smashed, like absolutely crazy parties happening, like bananas. And then on top of that, they got kids like Lance, this guy who I was getting at. He was bullying people for their concession money. I think they were called like ruck bucks or tuck bucks, something like that. Anyways, they would use them for like store currency. Your parents give you like 20 and those went towards your bucks, whatever they were called anyways. What this guy would do was he would basically like extort people. He would be like, hey, he had a broken arm, by the way, this Lance kid. And he was like, hey, if you don't give me your money, I'm going to smack you with my cast. Believe it or not, the guy's crazy, bro. He was smacking people with his cast. He'd go in the pool and get that thing wet just so it was heavier, and he would smack people with it and knock them off the diving board. There was like this little walking board where 2 people could like use floaties to try and push each other. He was just smacking kids with his cast, causing nosebleed, decking kids left and right. The guy didn't even get kicked out. He took one of my buddy's cameras and smashed it, all the pictures. It was one of those like roll-up cameras, for those of y'all who never knew. Like there was these little snap pictures that you could, these cameras, they were disposable pretty much, and they could only hold like 20 to 30 pictures. You would take a picture, click, then you do like this wind up, like quick, and then yeah, you could take another picture, but you could only take so much because it was film, right? We don't do that anymore, you know. I remember when digital cameras were the new cool thing. Yeah, anyways, times have changed so much. Oh my goodness, I'm not even that old. I'm only like mid-20s, bro, and I'm chilling. Like, you know, life is chill. But yeah, anyways, life can be stressful at times. Also, finding this piece is super easy. Just go exactly where I did, right by that little, like, tent, if you want to call it, or little shack. Instead of going and searching, like, the whole thing, like, oh, man, no, it's just a pain. So once you get in here, like, just kind of hug the left side here. Don't even bother sticking your head into that huge mess. Just kind of hang on the outskirts, punch a couple if you want to or whatever, and then basically you're just going to find it chilling. And just like that, we're good to go. No need to worry about all this mess. We're going to use our ability, throw a firework, and get out of here. That way we can get the fast travel, or sorry, the catch a ride activated, I suppose. And then we can finally use cars. And then I think we have like another mission or 2, maybe 3, before we get into Sanctuary, something like that. But we're getting really close, which is fantastic. That's so messed up. They interrupt him doing his legendary catch a ride right at the start to interrupt it with a tutorial for you. That's some nonsense right there, my guy. What in the world? When you get to this part with the tunnels, don't even bother with the bullymongs. Unless you still have to do that challenge with the hair, you might be able to get them still. As long as you kill them with melee damage, I think you can get it anywhere pretty much. Unless it has to be in the immediate mission area, but yeah, anyways, basically Handsome Jack here is going to go on about how cool he is, and we're going to make our way to Sanctuary, which is great. But I don't think it lets us in right away. Like I said, I think we have another quest or 2 or 3 to do. Try and ignore all this stinging cactus because it'll melt you in your vehicle super quick. Don't shoot it or anything. Just do your best to avoid it. And if you want to, there is some XP on your left with all those guys in there. And then also the button. Oh, hey, what's this guy doing? Just chilling? This guy a friendly NPC? Wow, maybe him and I could be neighbors someday. We could be best friends. You know, maybe read the newspaper together. Just kidding, he had to ruin it. That's alright. You know what? I'll see you. I'll be at your funeral. I'll still support you. It's okay, bro. I got you.
catch up when I get back to Sanctuary. For now, my mentor-
Wow, that firework grenade's the way to go, especially early game. That thing is such a lifesaver, especially in tight spaces. You can just rack up the kills, quick XP, and clear the area and make it a lot less hazardous for yourself. But this is going to be the end of the first episode. I will see you in the next, where we go into Sanctuary and the actual game begins. I look forward to spending a whole bunch of money at Moxie's, because she's hot.